Hey, Rose.
Hey.
There's another person in here with us.
What?
Don't mind me. I'll just sit here in the corner.
Don't mind Cat from TheCat.com. Jesus Christ.
Woo! Yeah. Whoa.
No, seriously, your corner is really nice. I really like the space it uses, the colors. I really like this corner. I could sit here forever.
All right. So explain what you do.
I do a podcast on That Guy with the Glasses. And if you set the Wayback Machine to when the website was still fairly new, about a year old actually, and had articles, I actually used to be one of the featured article writers.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, now I just podcast because we don't do articles anymore. We're not for the written word.
And it's Nerd to the Third, right?
Nerd to the Third Power, your one-stop shop for all things nerdy and awesome.
I do listen to that podcast sometimes.
And then sometimes you're like, who the fuck has time to listen to a 2-hour podcast?
Yeah, I mean, like, sometimes my time gets in the way because, Fran last week, she was like, I'm going to pimp another podcast. Everybody should listen to Night Vale. And I'm like, well, and I told her, I said, well, after the show, I'm like, well, I guess next week, like, she's on Nerd to the Third, which is on That Guy with the Glasses. And she's like, oh, we should have done hour two.
Oh, man.
Last week she was so busy talking about Night Vale.
No, I heard that's really good. One of my friends was convincing me, because she listens to a bunch of podcasts, she was like, you have to listen to Night Vale, it's so good. And I'm like, what about my free time that I don't have? Yeah. But I really want to listen to this show now.
Yeah, it's good. I like it a lot.
I haven't listened to it. I have way too many people telling me to watch it, which means I'm going to just put it off even more.
Oh, of course. No, I understand completely.
That's how the world works.
And I think the fandom's a little silly right now. I just don't get involved in all
that stuff. Are they silly?
So. Yeah, they're very silly. Ugh. Yeah, so I just don't get, like, I kind of pretend that I don't like it even though I love it.
So Rose's introduction to you, Kat, was when I texted her. I said, hey, just letting you know, the Cat from That Guy with the Glasses is going to be on the podcast next week. Because I already pinned her in for the podcast for this week, and I said, just letting you know that we're probably just going to talk about anime the whole time. She really likes Attack on Titan, and you're like, oh, okay. And then I said, also, she's a really awesome Hanji cosplayer, and you replied back with, ah. So I showed you the cosplay because I said, it's probably I'm just showering you in compliments right now because it really is like the best
please
the best
keep going.
Hanji cosplay I've ever seen in my life so far.
What's interesting is that I've worked a couple of conventions, because most conventions I actually do work at, since it started getting popular and since I cosplayed Hanji, and I haven't found a better Hanji than myself yet in person. So I'm crossing my fingers. What's actually really frightening is how much my personality is like Hanji, where at first when I started watching the show, I'm like, I'm going to cosplay Sasha. And then Hanji came along and I'm like, oh, she's actually got glasses. That's better.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my God, no, I am exactly like Hanji.
Oh my God, and she's really insane.
She is insane and she's love it.
Yeah.
Hanji she's just an otaku. She's just really obsessed with this one thing, and she will literally talk your ear off about it. I'm like, that's so me. That's me.
She's like one of those, I think it's something like, she's like a really big fan for like a rock band or something waiting outside for a concert, but instead of a rock band, it's Titans.
Yeah. And in the Japanese, she's voiced by Romy Park, who is...
Really?
Yes,
Jesus.
And it's amazing. Because Romy Park has a fairly deep voice, so she always gets cast as dudes like Edward Elric and Hitsugaya and Bleach, and so you don't get to hear her as women too often.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
And she never, like, when you do see her as women, they're always really fierce women. So I always really like when I'm like, oh, it's a chick, yes.
Yeah.
So it's really neat and for me to cosplay her when I have sort of a little bit of a deeper voice, and be like, yeah, I'm a little more character accurate. Yay!
Yeah, definitely.
Justin, Lotus Prince, who I'm friends with on Facebook, he blew my mind when he told me that Captain Levi and Law from One Piece which I love One Piece, is voiced by the same guy. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
What?
And if you watch Durarara, it's Izaya. And he's the biggest fucking troll ever and a douchebag. So it's wonderful. But then I have this really wonderful show that I watch called Natsume's Book of Friends. And he plays Natsume, who is the main character, who is the sweetest, nicest guy in the entire world. And so, like, his voice actor, I'm like, oh my God, you're not human.
Yeah, really.
You are too perfect to be real.
Who's your favorite voice actor? Japanese or English? Well, Japanese and English.
Okay.
Categories.
English is hard because I actually, not to toot my own horn, but I work a lot of conventions, so I actually know a lot of the voice actors.
Sweet.
And it's really difficult for me to be like a fan of them after I get to know them and hang out with them. But hold on, let me answer the Japanese first because it always has been and always will be Sekito Makazu, who was Chichiri in Fushigi Yugi and Vaughn in Escaflowne and a million other things. But he's always been my favorite voice actor. And I got to meet him at Otakon many, many years ago, and he's just amazing. He's phenomenal. But I'm really, last couple of years, really in love with Fukuyama Jun, because he's got a great voice, and Namikawa Daisuke. So I've always been like, basically, if you take the anime Weisskreuz, I've always been in love with that cast.
Oh, I remember that show.
And the cast of Gensama and Sayuki. So you take those 8 guys, and that's been like my dream team for like 10 years now or so.
Yeah.
And now there's all these voice actors out there who are newer that I'm like, I can't believe I like new voice actors. I'm not like set in my ways and stubborn. But English is a lot harder just because I know so many of them now. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe for men, maybe Patrick Seitz.
He's great.
And I say this because I don't feel weird about saying it because I've never worked with him, but he does have a really amazing voice. But Brian Drummond would be another really good one.
Oh my
and
goodness.
Scott Steele.
Yeah.
Brian Drummond, I did get to work with at a My Little Pony convention, and he was absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And his daughter is a voice actress as well, and she was also really awesome.
Oh, good.
Who's your favorite Rose?
If you don't remember, I'm actually like really new to anime comparatively because I used to write it off. And then in the last year I got back into it because I went to college.
Yeah, you told me an interesting story about how you kind of used to like it, but you got back out of it, and now you're really into it again.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was that interesting, but no, I used to completely write it off, and I was just like, this is because I used to really like it, and then but I was into all like the stereotypical like middle school stuff like Bleach and whatever. So yeah, I'm kind of new in terms of paying attention to voice actors and stuff like that. Because I've been mostly Western animation like all my life.
Yeah. I think my favorite Japanese is Kazuya Nakai. Is amazing. He voices like he's a voice that I can automatically tell that that's him. And like English wise, like I've grown so fond of J. Michael Tatum right now. Just everything he's in.
I love Tatum. Tatum is one of the ones that I've had the wonderful privilege to work with.
He seems like an awesome guy.
He is really, really sweet and very funny. I remember I was working a convention last year, and I was having a conversation with my friend by the downstairs elevator, and he kept at like 4 a.m. popping down to have a cigarette, and he was talking to our mutual friend about this book that our mutual friend had written, and he kept going, okay, I'm on chapter 4 now, and then he would go back up to his hotel room, and then he'd pop back down for a cigarette. Like an hour later, he's like, chapter 6, and he was so funny. And
I want to go like bowling with him or something. Like
that would be something really fun to do with him. He's a fun guy.
I've just grown really fond of all the stuff that I've been slowly watching Black Butler. It's kind of, I have it on hold right now. I have like, I'm watching like 10 shows, but I have like 5 other shows on hold. Like,
well, if you like Tatum, then I don't know if you guys know this, but I know this because I'm a stalker.
Same.
He does a podcast called That
the Anime Show. Yeah, he does it with
He does it.
Who does he do it with? I forget.
A lovely lady named Terry Doty, who just so happens is going to be a guest on my podcast next week.
Wow.
Oh, cool. Dang.
Which
Darn
we don't have it that often where we get voice actors, but I met Terry like a month ago, and she was totally awesome. And because she podcasts, she was like, "Yeah, I want to come onto your show." Granted, we were both drunk when we were talking about this, but she was like, "Yeah, I can come onto your show," and I'm like, "Yes." So. Yeah, she's going to be on our show in a couple of days. I'm really excited.
So, what is let's go down, like, what anime we're all watching right now, and what we think of them so far. We're all watching Titan right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also collecting the manga of that one because I got really impatient and needed to read ahead, but I don't want to pirate anything.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'll be good, and I'll buy all of the manga legit. And So now that I caught up to the manga in the anime, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
It's almost like I really want more. I just, like a month ago, I just got done watching Madoka Magica. And
oh my god, you mean Madoka Tragica?
Yeah, really.
A show that makes you weep.
Rose, have you seen it?
Yeah, of course I have.
Oh my god. And, like, apparently, they're releasing movies in Japan.
Yeah.
Where they tell more of the story, and I'm like, I want more of that. When can I have that?
Yeah, it's gonna be terrible.
Jesus, when can I see that? I want more.
I want to say that maybe the first 2 movies have had a limited theater release in the U.S. I want to say they did that in Los Angeles.
Yeah. I read that they did them at a couple, like, film festivals and stuff, and everybody really liked them.
I think they're still releasing them. I want to say that maybe there's one more movie left to come out in Japan.
Yeah, that's what I read on Wikipedia, that they're still making it's going to be like a trilogy, that the first one retells the story, and then the second one continues the story, and then I guess the third one continues the story as well. I'm not quite sure.
They did license, I think, for some light novels to come over. Like Yen Press is going to print some light novels.
Oh, good.
So more story, more tragedy.
I was totally, I was really into it, and the only thing that motivated me to keep watching really was the fact that I heard the ending, like the final like 2 or 3 episodes are just really, really good. So like, you know, the first few episodes I'm like, okay, yeah, alright, magical girl, alright. And then I kept realizing how creepy Kyubey was, and I'm like, I'm going through the process of why are there so many plushies of him? He's a fucking creep. And then the final 3 episodes are like, I'm trying to comprehend, like why this character is so great. Like, I didn't care about her at first, but now she's, like, really great.
See, Madoka Magica is, like, the most leading show I've ever seen. Like, it's such a bait and switch.
Yeah.
You look at it and you're like, ooh, here's the cute little magical girls with all their cute little outfits, and they're gonna go fight monsters or whatever. And then you watch the first episode and you're like, that was a little weird. Yeah. Because you get into the witch's labyrinth and then you feel like you've just dropped acid.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's a little weird, but this is still a normal girl show. Like, normal shoujo, blah, blah, blah.
After I watched that show, I was, like, obsessed with that music, because I know, I think
so good.
The person...
Calafina is amazing.
Yeah, she does the same music for, like, Tsubasa Chronicle, which I love the music in that show.
And if you go back to Dot Hack, that was like all the same people doing all the Dot Hack sign music.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the only thing people still remember about Dot Hack.
Oh my god. Probably because they made like 1 million games and none of them were interesting.
Yeah. So we're all watching Free, correct?
Yes.
I have caught the first episode of Free. It's one of those things that I told myself I was gonna like let a few episodes come out and then I would watch more.
Oh my god.
I was a little disappointed because it's impossible for Free to like live up to the expectations of Tumblr. So I was like, I can't watch this episode by episode. It'll make me insane because it needs to all be out right now.
It's pretty freaking good.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where I was actually skeptical because even though I don't get a lot of, like, I don't follow a lot of people that are fangirly about that kind of thing, so thank God. But I don't know, like, it's just one of those things that it keeps getting better and better with each episode, and I don't understand how they do it. It's like the first episode it was good, but it didn't really grab me all that much, and then, like, it keeps building on itself, and I'm like, how are you doing this?
They take
This is
swimming
really
so
good.
seriously.
Yeah.
so dramatic.
Yeah, I love it, though.
It's really unintentionally funny, I think. But I think that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of supposed to laugh about how seriously they take swimming and how everybody wants to be Haruka's boyfriend.
I mean, at the same time, it's like a really, it has a lot of really good messages. And I mean, in the last episode with like the parallels between how everybody views swimming and friendship in regards to each other, it's a really fascinating look at teamwork and all those themes. So I really appreciate it.
That show's just really good. It's very well animated too. Like,
oh my gosh,
I've gone on Tumblr and seen people that are like, I'm a swimmer, and the fact that they're animating this so accurately blows my mind.
Yeah.
And and sometimes the animation's a little weird because the abs can be a little too detailed and it's a little weird.
It looks weird.
Yeah. But I think that's cool, that people take the time to do that.
Yeah.
I want
they
more.
know exactly who they're marketing that show to.
Oh, yeah,
so,
definitely.
Abs and all this stuff.
I remember when when that thing came out, that 15 or 30-second commercial, and everybody just flipped their shit.
That was the day that Tumblr came.
Yeah, it was. I remember that day happening.
Yeah,
and,
same.
It was just an immediate reaction. This needs to be a show. And then somehow the fact that there was a petition at all kind of went under my nose. Like, I had no idea that happened.
Oh my god.
But then I heard that it was, the next thing I heard about it was that it was going to be a show, and I'm like, what? The internet did it!
In reality, it's actually based on a series of light novels, I think.
Yeah, which I haven't read, and I really want to, because apparently it gives a lot of backstory with Makoto and Haruka.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So it makes me curious about how much of the making of it into an anime was simply the internet pushing for it, and how much of it was planned from the beginning as a possibility, just because they had this material to work from.
Yeah,
I'm really curious about that. I'd love to find an interview or something that explains it.
I'm watching a show right now, and I've told Rose to watch it already, but it's so funny. I actually don't have any friends that are watching it right now, but I got my brother watching it. It's called Watamote, and it's about a girl, and she spends her time playing high school love sim, so when she goes into high school, she thinks she's automatically going to be popular, but she's not. And she spends all her time saying, like, how do I get guys to sex me? But she's like really awkward and strange girl. She is extremely strange.
Show, the whole title of that show translates, the full Japanese title translates to, any way you look at it, it's your guys' fault I'm not popular.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't watched the show, but I know that this is its actual title.
Yeah,
it is hilarious.
Somehow I got my brother watching it, and now Tomoko is his waifu now.
Oh my god.
So, because he saw me watching it, and he's like, what show is that? And I'm like, it's called Watamote, and it's about a very, very strange girl. And,
Greer, we just need to have a podcast about your brother.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty good. My brother is a strange bird.
I love him.
You are obsessed with my brother.
He's
We
so
can make
great.
an anime about that.
I would make an anime about my brother in a second. I could write books on him, and Rose would buy them all.
Yeah, I would. I would pre-order all of them and buy all of the merchandise.
Oh god, Watamote is just really good, and the thing I like about it is like she's not like stereotypical otaku strange like Kanata from Lucky Star. She's not as like really quirky and perfect as Kanata, but she's really clumsy, and she gets into these really embarrassing situations that just make you cringe. Like it is.
Oh my gosh.
I've read that. It really is. It's like the cringe anime because things happen to her where you're just like, oh.
So on a similar note, have either of you watched Princess Jellyfish?
No, not yet. I want to.
I've heard of that. I'm watching
Yeah.
Squid Girl.
That's totally not the same thing. So Princess Jellyfish is the story of basically this apartment building full of really awkward nerd girls. And their complete inability to socialize, and they like literally turn to stone when faced with certain things. And one of them, the main character Tsukimi, is obsessed with jellyfish. And one day she's like trying to tell the person working at this little fish store that this person shouldn't put these two types of jellyfish into the same tank, otherwise one is going to end up killing the other. But she is so socially inept that she can't like put the words together to talk to a normal person.
Yeah.
Because that person is good looking.
That's basically the entire plot of Watamote, by the way.
Right. So this beautiful like girl shows up and like basically buys Tsukimi one of the jellyfish and buys her a tank for it and helps Tsukimi bring the jellyfish home. And she's like, oh my gosh, this girl is a princess. She's perfect. She's beautiful. She's everything I could never be. And then it turns out she's a dude. And so she begins hanging out with this cross-dressing guy named Kuronosuke, who she can only handle socially when he's in drag. Because if Kuronosuke shows up dressed like himself, like a dude, she cannot handle it. So it's like this great story, like
that sounds amazing.
Love
That's
story and totally awkward people. But my favorite character is one of her flatmates named Mayaya, who first off has the funniest name, Mayaya. It's fun to say. It sounds like a fruit. It sounds like
Yeah.
like a banana or something, papaya. But she's obsessed with like the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, or some like Chinese epic, like historical epic, and she refers to everybody like as like brave, valiant warriors, and like the battles that they go, and she literally references everything like in
my
life
gosh.
and harkens it back to the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and it's freaking hilarious. And if you watch it in the dub, it's a voice actress named Monica Rial.
I love Monica Rial.
Yes, and I love Monica to death. I've worked with her at a bunch of different conventions, and if you know her, she has this really high, squeaky voice.
Oh, yeah.
And as Mayaya, she actually pitches her voice down, and it's a little raspy, and it's amazing to listen to. It's absolutely the greatest thing ever. So I just fell in love with this show. There needs to be like 3 more seasons of it because it's only like 12 or 13 episodes.
Yeah,
Oh my
I've only heard of it. I haven't watched it. Is it on Hulu or anything like that?
It's probably on Hulu because it's
Probably.
I think I watched it on Funimation's website.
Yeah.
So it's probably on Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I have to go to Funimation's website to watch anime more because I only go to Crunchyroll and Hulu.
Well, I mean, the Funimation, I believe, hosts their videos through Hulu, so it doesn't matter if you watch it on Hulu or on Funimation. A lot of the times, their website, I have an account on there, but it won't bring up my queue, and I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm going back to Hulu. And then Hulu fucks up my queue, and then I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm going back to Crunchyroll.
But God, what other shows right now?
Danganronpa.
Danganronpa. You watch that Danganronpa show.
That's like my main life of I mean, hello, like, look at my Skype name. It's Miss Tugami. I'm like, geez, I love Danganronpa. I love Super Danganronpa 2. I love, I just can't.
I read the plot, and that actually looks really funny.
It's not
it's
funny.
Like a school where, like, you have
not funny.
To kill each other.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
It's so tragic, and it makes me cry every night.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible. It's like, I kind of hate how hyped it is on Tumblr because it's so good, and I don't want people to hate it because of the fandom, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
it's almost like when Homestuck first started getting popular, and it was like, everybody should watch read Homestuck, and then now we should all stay away from Homestuck.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's really good. I don't know. The anime is great, but it still doesn't, like I told you, Greer, it doesn't capture the game, like, as much as it, you know, it doesn't, it's only 13 episodes, so it's not going to be.
Is it like a text-based game?
No, it's more like a visual novel, when you get to the trials, then you have, like, a bunch of mini games in that when you're trying to figure everything out. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
Speaking of trials, we need to have a 1-to-1 on Phoenix Wright right now.
Oh my gosh.
Kat, have you played Phoenix Wright?
I haven't. Confession, I'm not really much of a gamer. And I just let my best friends, they are all gamers, and they just tell me everything that ever happens in games ever.
How's Phoenix Wright going, Rose?
I haven't had a chance to start the third one yet, and I'm really mad about it because I want to start it so bad.
You Facebooked me, you're like, the fourth case.
Yeah. Wow.
In the second game, I don't want to spoil anything, but I definitely, I know. I remember when that happened to me.
And it's like, I'm worried because everybody's like, oh, well, the third game is like where everything gets even worse. I'm like, oh my gosh, how could it get
The last case of the third game is where everything gets literally worse.
Yeah, so I'm really worried, but it's such a good series. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I do need, like, hours to play it because I never want to stop. Like, I never find a stopping place.
Yeah. So
it's like, even like when they have a chapter break and they're like, oh, do you want to save your game? I'm like, no, I'm continuing. That was a cliffhanger. So it's terrible. It's so bad for me, but it's so good.
Well, I don't know why there isn't a Phoenix Wright anime by now.
Yeah,
I know the Dual Destinies is gonna have animated cutscenes, which
yes.
broke my brain. And like that's me. That was me when I heard that there were gonna be animated cutscenes. I just went,
yeah.
I couldn't speak for like an hour, but I can't. I don't know why there isn't an anime, because they made it into everything else. They've crossed with Professor Layton. There's a Takarazuka musical, and like the only thing left is to make it a show.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I've heard the live action movie was really good.
The live action movie is pretty good. I liked it a lot, to be honest.
I haven't seen it yet. I need to see it.
It's good. You can watch it now. It's only based off of the last case of the of the first game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I liked it a lot. A lot of people were like, really iffy, but I thought it was good with what they had to work with. I mean.
Yeah.
So what else is everybody watching right now?
I am watching a show called Makai Oji, Devils in the Realist.
I think I have that on my queue.
And it's really, really funny. And I don't imagine that it's actually good. I really enjoy it. And I know I enjoy it because all of the characters are so gay. And a while back, I was watching a show called Hakenden, 8 Dogs of the East, and I really enjoyed it because the characters were so gay, and there were actually gay guys in it, and that was awesome. Well, ish. And so they ended the season of Hakenden, and then they brought out Makai Oji, Devils in the Realist, and I'm like, oh good, this is to replace Hakenden with me watching a show going, you're so gay. So I just watched the show, just watching it, leaning my head on my hand, going gay, gay, gay. Like I watch the intro and I go, and you're gay, everybody's gay.
That's what I thought about Free. I'm like,
that's what I thought about Free too.
Everybody wants to be Haruka's boyfriend.
Yeah,
basically.
But Makai Oji is the story of an English kid, William Twining. He's named after tea. That's as British as you get. William Twining, and he finds out that he is the reincarnation of King Solomon from the Bible, who sold his soul, basically. Long story, basically this British kid is the elector who chooses the next king of hell. So he has all of these beautiful demon boys hanging around him all the time, trying to become the next king of hell. And then all these angels sort of step in, and they also want control of the elector so that they can, like, not have a king of hell.
You know what? I have heard of this show, only because, I'm obsessed with, Yezu Taku's Anime Derby. And this was on her recent Anime Derby episode, because she's doing the summer anime now. And the animation looked kind of iffy to me, but I hear it's okay, I guess.
Yeah, the animation's not bad at all.
Yeah.
It's not like above average, you know. It's really hard to compare animation with the summer anime.
From what I hear,
when you have Attack on Titan out there.
From what I hear, the studio is used to doing more like really laid back kind of shows, so and then they go right into a fantasy action show, and so the animation's a little weird, I think, in the first couple episodes from what I've heard, or from what I've seen of it. Yeah, it just looks a little weird, but you know,
it's a pretty boy show like Free and like Hakenden, where it exists to throw pretty boys into situations where they might be pretty boys together.
Oh yeah.
And now there's the other season of Hakenden is almost entirely out, and I couldn't bring myself to watch it until all of it was out, because when I watched the first season of Hakenden, I shotgunned it, and it frustrated me so much that I'm like, I need the entire second season to be out so that hopefully, you know, maybe something will happen and maybe like things will be concluded this time. So that's like next up on my queue is to watch the second season of Hakenden.
Makai Oji just looks like it's made for the Fujoshi fandom.
Oh, it is.
Sorry.
Oh, it is.
It definitely is. Oh god, what other shows do I have on hold? I have a bunch of shows that I'm watching, and then a bunch of shows I have on hold. Like, I'm watching Free Titans Watamote. I'm watching Gintama right now. I'm going back to watch Gintama, because I remember I picked up Gintama a long time ago, and then for some reason I forgot I was watching it. But, so now I'm watching it again. I think I only made it to, like, episode 30-something, so now I'm watching Gintama.
Dude, that is exactly what happened to me. I made it to, like, episode, like, 30-something, and then I'm like, life got in the way.
It's not that I didn't like it, it's just I forgot. And I'm watching Lucky Star now, too, because I think, again, long time ago, got for the first few episodes, and then I forgot I was watching it.
Greer, did you finish Soul Eater, or are you still watching it?
Still watching Soul Eater, still watching Sword Art, because they're on Toonami, so I'm watching
I need to watch Sword Art.
Yeah.
What do you think about Sword Art? I haven't watched it yet, but like all of my senpais at school are really obsessed with it.
So far,
all of my senpais at school.
It's true, I call them senpai. It's true.
Me and my brother, we watch Soul Eater and Sword Art together. That's our time on Saturdays, is watching sometimes One Piece. I'll definitely watch One Piece, and then sometimes he'll come in and watch One Piece, and then Soul Eater, and then Sword Art. And Sword Art, it's okay. I mean, it's funny to watch. It's definitely very dramatic, and me and Graham kind of like to make fun of it. I hear the ending sucks, but
yes,
it does.
Like the first season is so good. It's very compelling.
So that's like the first like 12-ish episodes, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a 26 episode series.
Yeah.
And then the second half is really, really not interesting. And it's kind of obnoxious because you have like the whole thing taking place in the Sword Art Online world, and it's all awesome. And you know, like there's legitimate stuff at stake here.
Yeah.
Because this is a game that kills people.
Yeah.
So
Rose,
there
if
is,
you didn't know, the tagline for the show is on Tsunami. The tagline for the show is, "If I die in the game, I die in real life." And
maybe that's why they like it. Maybe they
way too many times in media and in entertainment, but somehow in this, it like me and Graham think it's really unintentionally funny.
Probably.
We'll laugh at it and we're like, "Oh God, I knew that was gonna happen." And I think it's like the third episode or something, and they introduce this girl, and I'm like, that girl is so dead. Like, that girl is dead, like, the second I saw her. And then, what do you know, 5 minutes before the episode ends, she's dead. And I'm like, I told you! Didn't I tell you she was a dead man?
Yeah, I think Sword Art Online is, like, it's pretty predictable, but I still think that the story is good enough. You know, like, that I still found it really interesting and a good story. And then you get to the second half, because obviously they escape the game finally, and then basically, like a bunch of fucking morons, all of these people who are trapped in this game, they're like, I'm gonna go get on some other games, because it couldn't possibly happen twice. But it doesn't happen twice. But everything is all drama in the second round, because his girlfriend, for some reason, gets kidnapped, even though
I love it.
Whatever, she gets kidnapped. And he has to go save his girlfriend, and his sister comes into it. And there is some serious, like, brother con going on in here.
Oh no.
And it's really just kind of like kind of uncomfortable. Like most of the second half is like you're just sort of uncomfortable, and it's not interesting.
I cannot wait. But yeah, I'm still watching Soul Eater. I'm on it's like they just introduced God, what happened? It's like Medusa has a sister or something, right?
Rose. Arachnid?
Rose.
Wait, what plot are you on?
It's like they just took Krona out, and they're like, you're gonna join the academy, and she's like, okay. So they go to the Czech Republic or something, and Medusa has like a sister or something like that.
Yeah, something.
Lady Arachnid.
Yeah, the Spider
Arachnid.
Woman. Yeah.
AKA I find her even less interesting than Medusa. I hate Medusa. She's so boring.
And there was a lot of shots with going back and forth with Stein, and I'm like, yes.
Stein is awesome.
Babes
I
in
love
lab
Corona.
coats.
She's babes in lab coats. Ah, yes.
She's definitely a babe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Soul Eater is one of the shows that I have a hard time watching, because there is a character there with my mother's name, and I'm like, it's so weird. So weird. Patty Thompson is my mother's name.
Jesus.
Oh wow.
And I go, whoa, what weird. Oh God.
Yeah, I can understand that, yeah.
Because
it's one of those shows that I have a lot of opinions about in capital letters. Just because it's really awful. Like it's not good. Like but
you like it.
No, but I love it because the characters and the world are so fascinating, and the Okubo, the artist / writer, just hacks it up so bad. He's terrible. Like I have a lot of opinions about it, and a lot of the fandom is just terrible because they don't know what they're talking about. So it's like my corner of the fandom, there's like 10 of us or so that like all mutually follow each other or whatever, and it's just like we're the only quarter that I pay attention to like at all, because we actually are kind of sane about how we view it, and we hate the Soma ship.
There are legitimately good things in the show, though.
Oh yeah, no, there are legitimately good things.
Like
it's just
Corona.
that yeah, but I mean, and there are legitimately good things in the manga too, even after like the post whatever they do in the show. Like the Book of Ebon, which I haven't actually read yet,
Didn't
that
the
arc,
manga
but
just
I know a lot
end?
about it. Yeah, don't even talk to me about that. don't. It's a hot.
She has a lot of opinions.
I have a lot of opinions. And I'm not even like as hardcore a fan as some of my friends at school. The people who got me into it, two of my good friends there have even more opinions than me, and we talk about this a lot because it's one of those things that we love it, but we also love complaining about it because it's just so bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I feel like you have to truly love something to fairly criticize it.
Yeah, of course. And that's why we don't like a lot of the fans, because they don't accept the fact that it has so many flaws.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so, and also because they ship things that are really stupid and don't make any sense. But anyways, shipping.
Shippers have the unique ability to ruin anything.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
Some of them. Not all of them.
Yeah.
Is this coming from a Thorky shipper? I mean...
anything can be ruined by shippers if you just give them enough time.
They have potential. How about that?
You know what I love about Soul Eater, though, is the voice cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, the acting is pretty good.
So good in both the Japanese and the English.
Yes, you can watch it in either way. It's perfect. It's just like I just can't even. I met Killick's voice actor because he was one of the directors or producers, I forget, of Sergeant Frog. I forget his name now, but I met him and he's like the coolest dude ever. And then like apparently like the rest of the cast is too, but we don't talk about Vic Mignogna. But you know, it's just
absolutely.
But like the whole cast is just so sweet and does such a good job, and they all fit their characters so well. And I'm like, what the heck? How did you pull this off? Like, how are you real?
Excalibur. Are we gonna talk about Excalibur? No, like
I like Excalibur.
One does not simply talk about Excalibur. Yeah. You sing about Excalibur.
We legitimately like Excalibur.
Yeah.
I love Excalibur.
I feel like there are so many people who don't like him, and I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. No, I love him. I have a full-size plushie of him in my room that my friend gave to me.
They're like he's the Jar Jar Binks of Soul Eater, and I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah, no, he's great. Gosh.
I drove down to a convention in which I went and worked with Troy Baker, who is the voice.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a 12-hour drive down, and my friend and I were just goofing off, listening to music, whatever. The entire 12-hour car ride back was just going, Excalibur. Like, it was awful. It was awful.
That's another voice actor I've been really obsessed with lately. Is Troy Baker. Ever since I played The Last of Us, which he voices the main character in, and yeah, I've been obsessed with him lately. I'm like, Troy Baker,
So
I've worked with him at a couple of shows. He is a very snazzy dresser.
Gosh.
We call him the Scarf because he wears a lot of scarves.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh god. There are a lot of things about Soul Eater that I hated at first. Like I didn't like Black Star at first, but then it's like, well, number one,
Black Star is me, Greer. I am Black Star.
I'm like, well, number one, I basically realized he's like a parody of Naruto.
Yeah.
And number two, he actually has like morals.
Yeah.
Like at first I thought like he was just like annoying and didn't care about anything, but then I'm like, oh, okay, well he actually cares about Tsubaki, and I realize now he's pretty much a parody.
Yeah. No, I mean he's one of those characters that like even if you hate him at first, he does grow as a character, which all characters should, but he's like one of the ones in the anime that I think it wasn't captured as well as I would have hoped, and the manga definitely threw that out the window, which pisses me off. But yeah, he has some really good character development, and it makes me really mad when people don't at least appreciate that.
Like, character-wise, I like all the female characters in that show.
Yeah.
Besides the bad ones, but, you know, and Blair.
Yeah.
Like, I like Maka, and I like all of them. And, it took me so long to figure out what gender Krona was. It took me like 5 episodes of Krona in it, so I'm like, are you a boy or a girl?
But like even in the manga, they use it pronouns. For
Krona?
So, what?
For Krona?
Yeah, I mean not in the in the official like translation they don't, but in the Japanese version I've read a ton of posts about it where they use it, like at least Medusa refers to him as an it. I go with him just because I prefer, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he's a boy.
Yeah, he's a dude, and I don't really care though. Like if people get into arguments about that, I'm just like,
it doesn't matter. It
really doesn't
matter.
Yeah,
the only way it matters is for people to ship them one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, even then it's like I don't know. I don't really care about any of that. So I just, as long as Krona's a good character.
The only character I even like care about really heavily right now is Stein. Because
oh my gosh,
he's a babe. And
he is.
I didn't like. I remember Facebooking you. I said, because I was watching an episode, and I'm like, when did Stein get really hot? Like, when did that happen?
Yeah,
Just kind of happened all of a sudden. I feel like.
No. That's the reason. Actually, that's one of the reasons I started watching was because my friend was cosplaying him, and one of my senpais actually, and she was really hot as him. Jesus. I hope she's not listening to this. So I and my friends were watching it at the time, so I joined them on it. Soul Eater was the reason I got back into anime, basically. Mm-hmm. So that's why it kind of has a special place in my heart, because it was the reason why I started accepting it back into my life as my Lord and Savior. But I mean, yeah, Stein. Wow. I think I started watching it after he became a teacher, like after that whole dealio where he was fighting everybody. So I actually missed the episodes where he's being incredibly hot, fighting everybody on his freaking chair.
Yeah.
And I'm just like
I'm trying to touch Maka in weird places, and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, and so like that, I actually went back and watched that after I realized I had missed it, because I was like, yeah, I need that, and oh my gosh, that was great. That was a great episode.
So what anime got you into anime? Was there like a movie or a certain show or It could be something anime. Really stereotypical like Pokemon. I don't care, but you know.
I was actually a little too old when Pokemon started to come out. So it was probably Sailor Moon.
Uh-huh.
I would come home after school and it would be on, and I'd be like, oh, this show's kind of neat. But back then, which was quite a while ago now, like the internet wasn't really around like it is now, and so I didn't really have a clear idea of what anime was. It was just, hey, there's a show called Sailor Moon that I watched after school, and I'm such and such age. I shouldn't enjoy cartoons at this age. And then they started bringing Dragon Ball Z onto Cartoon Network, and I started watching that too. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, man, I'm watching a lot of cartoons. And then I started hanging out with there's a girl who was the younger sister of a guy in my brother's Boy Scout troop. So it's like my brother's friend's younger sister, who is a couple years younger than me. And her brother was big into anime and basically was like, here, I'm going to feed your budding addiction. And he gave us like Ranma 1/2 and, oh God, Magic Knight Rayearth maybe. And basically, he just fed us a bunch of whatever was out on videotape at the time that he had that was more or less appropriate for us at that age. And yeah, it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, I mean, it was like just straight Pokemon for me. For like years, it was just me. Like half the friends I have today, like we met in grade school because we all liked Pokemon. And I'm still friends with those people today. And, like, we would look back and be like, man, remember when we used to, like, go by the lake and play with invisible Pokemon? That was great. But it's like every kid did that. It was, you know. And then when I got older, like, I couldn't stay up late enough to watch the more adult stuff on Toonami. So I would, like, tape Rurouni Kenshin and, you know, watch it when I got home from school the next day, or, you know, whatever.
I still haven't seen that.
Rurouni Kenshin is great.
You just killed me in my nostalgia spot. Oh, I love Rurouni.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm sorry. I wasn't really into anime until like way late in the game. Like I still have not watched Sailor Moon. I know everybody's gonna kill me over that, but
no, it's okay.
I didn't watch it a whole lot when I was a kid. I remember it being there, but I just watched Pokemon all the time. So Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Like
I wasn't allowed to watch Pokemon because I abused my brother over it. It's a stupid story. I'm not gonna get into that.
What, did you throw Pokeballs at him?
No, it was a little worse than that.
Did you torture him for liking Pokemon?
No, because I love Pokemon.
Did you sing Jigglypuff? Because that would be the worst thing you could possibly.
I don't want to tell this story.
Do it.
Okay.
I'll still love you either way.
Okay, I was like 7, and my brother's 2 years younger than me. And I had been watching it, and there was one episode where Team Rocket like stole a Toodle-Dial, I think, and because it was like the second game or whatever, and they were like doing some silly shenanigans because it's Team Rocket, and the Toodle-Dial like bit James on the butt.
Yeah.
I kind of reenacted that scene
on Heath.
Yeah. And like really hard, and it like left a big welt, and my brother was crying really hard, and I got in so much trouble I wasn't allowed to watch it anymore.
Oh my god, that's the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
That was the same reason I couldn't watch Powerpuff Girls, because I socked my brother in the stomach after watching it one day.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's why I didn't grow up with cartoons, because I physically assaulted. I just got too into it. I had no line of reality.
You were like the greatest. I hope you never fall into the hands of like one of those politicians that is trying to prove that video games and cartoons make children violent.
Yeah.
Like you would be the perfect for that case.
But it was never at like school or anything, because I'd play Pokemon at school. Like we'd all pretend we were Pokemon at school or whatever, or like some of us would be Pokemon, some of us would be trainers, and like that's what we did on the playground. But it wasn't on them or anything. Like I never got physical with them. It was always with my brother. But like my parents just basically said that we couldn't watch it, so I was just, and I don't remember being too upset about it, so I just kind of like did my own thing. And I mean that's why I didn't get into cartoons until like 8th grade, because I just didn't watch them.
You should watch Yu-Gi-Oh instead. The worst thing you could have done with Yu-Gi-Oh is challenge him to a duel.
No, because I would have banished him to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, really. Tried to banish Keith to the Shadow Realm.
And then like
under a
kick him
bed
off or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. My parents raised me really well. Like they made some really good decisions, because I was a terrible child.
I remember, like, I'll go back someday. I'll wake up, like, on Saturday mornings, on a Saturday morning like this one, and they still show old episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm not surprised.
On whatever the CW is in the morning now. But it's like they'll still show Sonic X, and I'm like, dude, I watched Sonic X. It's the best show ever. And then they'll show, like, back to back, they'll show an old episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, the duel to whatever it was with Pegasus. They would show an episode of that right now, and I guess they're showing all the old, like, episodes that are going to go into Battle City or whatever. And then next to that, they'll show Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. And I'm like, well, I'm done for the day. I can't watch 5Ds. It's really awful.
Yeah.
I mean, at least, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Like, that was okay. I remember watching that as a kid, and like, okay, this is alright. But then it got into, like, the motorcycles in the next series, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I can't watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore.
Yeah. Card games on motorcycles.
Yeah, really. I would watch, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge and the real Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I would watch them together and love them together.
Yeah.
Like, because I was at the age now where I knew, like, this show is so dumb, but I still love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. I wanted to talk about something that is, I just love the show, RWBY. I already watched a lot of Rooster Teeth stuff, and they have a show that Monty Ohm is making. He's done a bunch of stuff before, but his show right now, RWBY, is on Crunchyroll right now, and everybody should go watch RWBY because it's really great. But
I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard mixed things about it.
People are complaining that it's not real anime because it's CG. It's completely CG. It's done with motion capture.
Yeah, yeah.
But I consider it anime. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Only because it has so many themes about it. And even the most recent episode, episode 8, basically encompasses everything I love about anime. Because it's just action, and all of it's, like, original. And everything in RWBY is, like, original stuff. And I absolutely love it. And everybody should watch RWBY. And I want to ask if anybody else was watching RWBY. Or, has an opinion on it.
I've been wanting to get into it because it's starting to pick up some steam in terms of my friends posting about it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I've seen some artwork for it, and it looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely on my list of things to do.
I mean, the episodes are short, but everybody should watch RWBY. And, they're like really purists of anime that are like, real anime doesn't have CG. And I'm like, yeah, you keep saying that, and then try to explain to me why, like, Appleseed or IGPX is considered an anime,
Yeah.
Anime has used CG since
CG was around.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's used in, like, I don't understand why that's an art. That's actually not the arguments I've been hearing about it, but I mean, I don't even understand why that's an argument.
I don't either. It's like IGPX is like 80% CG.
Mm-hmm.
And people consider that anime. And then you'll get something like Appleseed, which is a lot of CG as well. And even like really old things like have CG in the background, like even stuff like, Bebop had a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just an argument I've been hearing, and I think it's just anime purists being the way they've always been.
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
Weeaboos being weeaboo.
But we're above that, obviously.
Clearly.
The way we talk about free, yes, we're totally above that. I finally...
Hey, I'm not even there for the shirtless boys. I'm honestly not. I don't watch it for the fan service. I watch it because it's legitimately funny.
I watch it for both. I really do. I know I've recommended free. I'm like, I think when in one of the Channel Awesome groups, someone posted the news Anime Derby, and I said I cannot recommend free enough to everybody, even the guys. I cannot recommend it enough, even to males, because if you're not there for the fan service, or you're there for the great animation, you're there for the charm and the humor. Yeah. Because it's underneath all the fan service is a great story, and I hope they make it forever. Never.
No, don't say that, Greer.
I'm trying to think of something to say about like Titan or something. Like, who knows? Does anybody? Because y'all are both reading the manga. How soon do we find out who the female Titan is? Or do we ever?
It'll probably be like the second to the last episode, I would guess.
Yeah.
Of this, what?
Of this season or whatever.
Oh my god, I can't wait that long.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a fun episode.
It's gonna. So I feel like it might kill me.
It will.
So here's what's really gonna kill you. Is that there's, after this week, there's probably about 3 episodes left.
3?
And they have not announced a second season, a second series. They've announced nothing.
Really?
Really.
Well, wow. I mean, 24 episodes, that's a regular length for an anime series, though. So, I mean, I can see that, but, like, people are going to be clamoring for more.
But, I mean, are they waiting for the manga to get further before they even try that? Because do they want to keep up with... obviously, do they not want to pull an FMA? That's what I'm saying?
My guess would be that they are going to wait until there's enough material. Because I sat here and I looked at it one day and I said, okay, the first season of I'm going to call it the first season. Because I assume there's going to eventually be a second season. So the show thus far, probably by the end, it will have taken maybe 32 to 34 chapters of the manga, animated. There are currently about 48 chapters.
Yeah.
Out. So, and it comes out monthly. So it's going to be like another year before there's enough material to make another season. It's going to be forever.
Well, somebody just...
Yeah, that's
put
why
me in a hole and cover me with a rock, and then take me out. When
I first started reading it and stuff, I was actually wondering why they had jumped so fast into making an anime for it, because it didn't seem to me like there was that much material in terms of, like, I was just wondering how they were going to handle this, and I would actually be okay with them waiting rather than making up stuff, because
I really hope
like what they did with Full Metal.
Yeah, because I'm not interested in, I love the way they're doing the anime, and I don't want them to get ahead of themselves. Like, please just release it on DVD, bring it to America more, like with official subs or whatever.
Funimation already has it licensed, so it's
okay, good.
Probably gonna come over here pretty soon.
Yeah, make more official merchandise. Let the manga keep updating. More people will get into the manga then. That'll be great. And then
I think the second people started talking about it, Funimation immediately went for the license, which is a smart move on their part.
I think they probably have had their eye on it for a while, because it exploded in Japan just like right before it got picked up. It just exploded in popularity.
Yeah, and it's been around for, I mean, a little bit.
A couple of years.
Yeah.
But it just really got popular all of a sudden. It's called a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
There's like no publicity about it, but damn, did it get popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly because of that opening. People just really grabbed onto that.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
That and the way it, makes
it's
you
just so pretty.
The way that the story, not even the anime, but the story itself, so the manga or the anime, it's so good in that it absolutely breaks your heart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You cannot get attached to any character.
Marco, my son.
Marco.
Oh, Marco.
It was like I was reading it, and my friend was like way ahead of me because she was the one who got me into it, and I was just like I was reading it out loud to her, and I was just like, Marco is my son. I just can't with him, and she was just looking at me like with the saddest expression on her face, and I was like, oh no, what did I say? What did I do?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. Oh god.
Rose, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
So
no, it's not, but I'll be fine.
Oh my god. I actually for what happens to Eren, for anybody who hasn't seen it, I don't want to spoil anything, but for what happens to Eren, like, I got that spoiled for me. I feel like I would have had a better reaction to it if I hadn't gotten it spoiled for me. Like,
who spoiled it? I'm gonna beat them up.
Tumblr.
Oh.
Gonna have to take on the army.
It was like some post on Tumblr. I was just scrolling, and it was a funny Attack on Titan thing, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, I always tag my spoilers because the manga just it just revealed like a few things that were like amazingly.
At first,
spoilers.
I seriously thought when that happened to Eren, like I'm like, this series is just pulled a Gurren Lagann on me. The main character is gone.
I'm a weird one. I deliberately go and look for spoilers because I don't like to be surprised. This comes from being severely empathetic. So, like, I will cry at everything when I watch anime. Yeah. So if it's even remotely sad, I'm like, it's so sad. So that's me watching any given show.
Yeah.
So I go out and I look for spoilers. And I read summaries, and I do all of this so that I can be a little more emotionally sound when I watch it.
Like, I'm part of the army now that One Piece is on Toonami, and they started with like episode 200-ish, and all these people are like, oh, this fun pirate show, I really like it. And I'm like, oh, you guys are gonna have tons and tons of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when the main arc comes up, you guys are gonna have so much fun.
Yeah.
This pirate show is really fun. It's caused me so much pain and tears, but you guys are gonna have a really good time.
Going Mary.
Yeah, and Robin. That whole arc is just the darkest. I'm warding my friend right now, my best friend, because she doesn't really watch a whole lot of it. Like, I've been around her for so long, so she knows a lot of stuff about One Piece from me, and I have to explain a bunch of stuff to her, but I'm like, after this filler arc is over, the emotions start. And she's like, okay.
Then you have all these feels that you don't know what to do with.
Yeah, I mean, even the end of this current filler arc, it's like the dumb memory loss arc or whatever, and it's dumb, and I don't like it, but the end of it is really emotional, and then the start of the new arc is just, like, the most emotional thing, because people go missing, people leave, people get almost killed, and I'm like, oh, no, you guys are not gonna have a good time. This isn't a fun pirate roller coaster like you thought it was gonna be.
No.
I'm actually, waiting, because, I'm probably gonna get one of the One Piece Pirate Warriors games for a late birthday present, because I want both of them. I'm gonna see if I can get both of them. Because Pirate Warriors, if you guys haven't seen what One Piece Pirate Warriors looks like, it's pretty fucking good. It's almost like a Dynasty Warriors-esque kind of thing, where you just go around an open world and beat things up. And I'm like, yes.
That sounds amazing.
It does, and it looks good, and it follows the story, and I'm like, oh, it follows the story that I already know. What's everyone's favorite of, like, I guess it used to be the big three with Shonen Jump. It was One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto, but I feel like now Fairy Tail and Toriko have added to it. Like, is there, like, a favorite out of those 5 that you guys have? Or a cat, at least?
I really don't have a favorite, because I've never actually seen or read any Toriko, although I kind of want to get into it because it is such a big shonen presence.
I have a friend of mine who is in love with Toriko, and I promised her I would watch it, and I promised her for, like, the past 2 years that I would watch it, and I still haven't. But she loves it, and her love for it kind of makes me want to watch it more. It brings her so much joy.
I kind of want to watch it because of all the big Shonen Jump crossovers that are going on in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all Dragon Ball, Toriko, and One Piece, which I think is like, oh, that would be so cool if only I knew anything about Toriko. I really don't have I'm a huge, retardedly big fan of all of the big shonen series.
Mm-hmm.
I know that they are what they are. They're not stunning pieces of animation, and they are all very, like, a lot of their stories are very cut and paste, and a lot of their characters are very cut and paste, and I don't care. I still love them all.
Yeah.
And I don't have a favorite. I really don't. I love them all so much. I have cosplayed from Naruto and from Bleach. But One Piece is also so good.
I haven't read Naruto in, like, 3 years. I stopped reading Naruto. I'm like, there was actually a point where I would read Naruto along with One Piece on the same day, and there just got to a point in Naruto where I'm like, I can't read this anymore. Like,
yeah, see,
I made
that
a
was
conscious decision that I'm like, this has gotten too stupid. I can't read this anymore.
That was me with Bleach, because I didn't read very far into Naruto because I was just like, I know that this gets bad and I don't want to get to that point because I actually kind of like it right now. So I just didn't allow myself to read any more of it because I wasn't very attached to it either. But with Bleach, I read very far into it, mostly because of Uryu. Don't talk to me about him. He's too sexy. But I mean, I kept reading, and there was one defining moment where I just remember I was, like, in the middle of a chapter, and I don't even remember which arc it was or anything. It was in the 300s or whatever. And I was just like, no, I don't care about the main character. He hasn't learned anything, and he's terrible. Like, I I don't care. And because like everybody was like, oh my gosh, we have to rely on him. And I was like, no, we don't. You guys are perfectly capable characters. You guys have so much power. So I just exited it out of the tab and I never picked it up again. And like the only thing that has like reminded me of it is my friend is rereading it right now, and I'm like having like war flashbacks to 8th grade.
Like Vietnam.
Because it's just like, yeah, I get non-flashbacks because like that it was
PTSD.
It's just like, I mean, as much as because I really do like the earlier chapters, and I really do like the first big arc is really good.
Yeah, that's like me with Naruto. I really like. I feel like if they had just ended it after Zabuza, like it would have been a perfect series.
Yeah.
No.
Or even after like the latest is like after the Hokage dies or something. Like spoiler.
Oh,
But,
thanks a lot. I didn't read that part.
No, like yeah, the third one, but whatever. He was old. He was gonna freaking die. But
yeah.
if they had ended it after that, I would have been happy. Like
you would have missed a lot of really good characters, though.
Like the only character I still to this day care about in Naruto, and he's still the best character, is Rock Lee.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's the greatest character in anything.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he's not even a real ninja. I think Kakashi is the only legitimate ninja on that series. He's the only one that acts like a ninja and looks like a ninja.
Yeah. Did you mean David Bowie?
Yeah, David Bowie.
Yeah.
I'm not David Bowie.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, after the Akatsuki guy wanted to project his Sharingan on the moon, I couldn't handle that anymore. I'm like,
You know, I got to the point where and I haven't like read scanlations in years because I was like, I need to stop doing this. This is bad. And that's my personal preference.
Mhm.
Like I stopped because it was bad, but I stopped when I stopped because Bleach and Naruto are series where they go up and down. They get really good for a little while, and then they get really terrible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then they get pretty good again, and then they get even worse. And those two got really bad at the same time, and then One Piece killed my favorite character, and I was done.
yeah.
I was like, not reading another fucking thing.
Yeah.
I could not deal with it.
I mean, the worst that One Piece will get is that it will drag. Like,
Yeah.
drag. Now, it's actually now in the manga that it's actually starting to get good again, like exciting, like I look forward to the next chapter. But for
Good.
like the past couple months, it's just been dragging and introducing characters that I don't care about and that I'll probably never see again. And he'll do like 2 chapters on introducing characters that we're never going to see again and I'll never remember. And because Oda has so many ideas, he's like, I gotta get these ideas and names out, I guess. I gotta put them somewhere. But he'll do that. He'll introduce like a bunch of characters and he'll just give them names. And they'll get like a huge panel, but we never see them again. Never. Yeah. Or they get killed in the next panel. Or they get their face punched in. Nobody dies in one.
If we do see them again, it's like 800 chapters later. And
Yeah, so you're like, who are these person?
Yeah. And but it's actually getting good again. Like, it's picking back up. It's not dragging anymore. And I'm like, yes. But the whole thing, they're doing this Coliseum thing right now. And it's just been dragging and dragging and dragging. And I'm like, oh my god, please hurry up. Please go back to Law and Doflamingo because they were having an epic battle and you took the focus away from it. That was the one thing I was looking forward to and I don't get to see it. I'm really mad, but now it's actually starting to get interesting again, and the only reason I say that is because I love it so much. Yeah. I can fairly criticize
No, I know, Greer, I know you, like, yeah, everybody trust me, like, she loves the series.
I can say the only reason I never gave Bleach a chance is because when I first saw it, I thought it was a ripoff of Yu Yu Hakusho.
I can see that. I love Yu Yu
Just
Hakusho.
based on the first episode, I'm like, this is exactly like Yu Yu Hakusho. And I hadn't seen
Yu Yu Hakusho is like perfect.
I hadn't seen Yu Yu Hakusho in years, and I'm like, this is Yu Yu Hakusho.
No, see, if you want a rip off of Yu Yu Hakusho, you go watch a show called Flame of Recca. That's
I've heard
the
of that.
perfect
Yeah.
rip-off.
haven't
I
heard
love that show. I really do. I love it, but it's such a rip-off.
But I hear Bleach gets like really I like the art in Bleach. I have to say, I do like Kubo's art style, but
It's pretty good.
I hear the plot is just extremely convoluted. I think my brother tried to watch Bleach once, and he's just like, I can't keep up with. I asked him, I said, what's going on in Bleach right now? And he's like, I don't know.
The problem with Kubo is that he created the Soul Society arc, which was really great, and it was a little bit confusing because there was a lot of characters. A lot of characters, but it was a good arc for the story. It was a good emotional arc, and you liked almost all of the characters that they introduced because they're really cool. Yeah. And then you get the Hueco Mundo arc, and it is exactly the same thing, except of all of the characters that they introduce, you care about maybe 2 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You care about Urukyola and you care about Grimjaw, and everyone else can go fuck themselves because you can't remember their names or what kind of powers they have. They're all retarded.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, in One Piece, there are so many characters that just get introduced that I just don't care about. But then, like, one will slip by me. Like, just in the recent chapter, the most recent one, as of today, like, a character just kind of slipped by me that they introduced. I didn't really care about him a whole lot, but then they brought him into the chapter, and he's actually, like, my new favorite character. He kind of just slipped by me, somehow slipped his way into the chapter, but that happens a lot in that series, I realize, because I'm like, he does that all the time. He does it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, the most, I didn't expect Law to be one of my new favorite characters. Like, 3 years ago, if you told me that, I'm like, I mean, he's alright. And but now I'm like, I'm obsessed.
But I mean, I feel like that's how a lot of favorite characters, for me at least, that's how a lot of my favorite characters happen. The ones I get really obsessed with, where it's like, oh, you're okay. And then, like, by the end of it, you're just like, okay, why did I never not like you?
I have to pick new favorite characters because my other favorite characters aren't getting focused on right now. The other Straw Hats are off somewhere else, and I'm like, well, I gotta find a favorite character in this group because there weren't any before, and all my other ones are gone, so I guess I'll find one in this group. Oh my god. Yeah, One Piece will do that. My best friend, she's like, maybe I should, like, watch One Piece in its entirety, and I'm like, yeah, get back to me in like 4 years when you get done with that.
Yeah, really.
Because by the time you get to like the most recent episode, you will already be like a year behind.
Yeah.
Like, you can never do it. I remember before One Piece started on Toonami, I think I talked about this on the podcast. It's like a couple days before. Funimation did this thing where they took Scott Porter from the Funimation show, and they put him in a room, and they locked him in there with a live stream, and said, watch the first 206 episodes of One Piece.
Yeah.
That was some of the greatest entertainment I've ever seen. Because he, like, by the second day, he was just like, okay, like, I don't even think he finished Alabasta, though. I don't even think he got past the first 150 episodes, which is kind of sad. Because he was taking a lot of breaks, and, like, he was like, okay, yeah. And like, I would have been loopy like that, too, to be honest. Like, that would have gotten to me, being locked in a room for 3 days to watch One Piece.
Yeah.
I love the show, but that would have happened to me, too.
Yeah.
So do you guys want to, Kat, do you want to promote anything before we ship off?
Oh, goodness. I suppose I could just promote my podcast. Gosh.
Who else is tell who else is on the podcast?
Oh, God, we have such a huge cast. It's ridiculous. There's Dr. Gonzo and Brian and Brendan and Skyblaze, and we have a big show. We have a lot of people because our show is like news and discussion. We have like experts for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like 6 of us. Which when we have our discussion segment means that we have to be like, oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, go.
That's
okay. Well,
that's the show,
our
and we
whole
only
show.
have like 3 people on at the max.
It's true though.
Yeah. Like max, we have 4 people, and we still do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can find that on That Guy with the Glasses. It's under the podcast section, or just scroll down on the front page and you'll find it. Should be right next to Transmission Awesome, down there somewhere.
I was gonna say, look under the like most recent podcast, and we should usually be like the top ones.
Yeah. And go check out her cosplays because they're amazing. You should have like an entire website devoted to your cosplays. Please do.
I really, you know what? I haven't done it that much the last few years because I mostly work at conventions, and most of the time when you work at conventions, you don't really, I mean, when you do what I do at conventions, you don't get to dress up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, what's the next convention you're going to?
God, I actually don't have any more conventions for the rest of the year because I did them all like May, June, July, August. So I don't know. I've been thinking about going to MagFest like everybody else, but
Greer's gonna be there. Probably.
Everybody's
if I can find a
gonna
job,
be there.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Everybody goes to MagFest.
It's pretty great. I went last year. It was balls of fun. I mean, like a ball. I didn't mean like
you were
testicles.
balls deep in fun.
I was balls deep. I meant like I was in my mind. I was thinking of like a ball pit, like at McDonald's.
Okay.
But it sounded like
that's
testicles.
not what the rest of us thought.
Yeah, it was ball pit of fun, and there's I want to see there are people who cosplay at MagFest, and I want to see some Attack on Titan cosplays. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I want to see some in person.
You know it'll happen.
Yeah. No, like we're like there are friends who are going that are just planning all these cosplays, and I'm like, I'll wear a silly hat. Yeah, we're gonna sign off. This is probably gonna be our longest episode yet.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. No,
it's about anime. That's fine.
Our episodes are super short, and that's why people don't like them, I guess.
I could probably talk for another hour, except that I'm running on an hour of sleep.
Oh, no.
So.
Yeah, I'm probably... Rose, we're probably going to hang out today.
Yeah.
Our dogs together for a little play date.
Yeah.
So I keep saying, goodbye, everybody. Have a nice
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.